welcome to my channel, The Freelance Life. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome. And for those of you returning, welcome back. I'm Jen and I am a freelance graphic designer, illustrator, and educator based out of the Midwest, and I run Bella and Sophia Creative Studio. On this channel, you will find in-depth creative tutorials relating to design, creative business, and illustration. I also share a behind-the-scenes view of the work that I do as a creative freelancer and educator. Today, I'm sharing my 10 must-check-out books for surface pattern designers. Part of the work I do as a freelance designer includes designing surface pattern work for my own studio, small businesses, and commercial work. I have found that having resources outside of the great interwebs is always really helpful in sparking inspiration and offering reference materials for my artwork. So the books that I'm sharing today are chock full of inspiration and visual references, and I think that you should all have these in your design library. Let's get started. Okay, so some of these books I have with me here today, and some of them are books that I've either checked out from the library, borrowed, and I don't have them, but I will include links, and I'll include basically the book themselves, who the author is, and if I can find links to Amazon or books or anything like that, I'll include those all in the description box. The first book that I want to talk about is more of a business book. I've talked about this book before. I've mentioned it in like 3 videos now, but I am a die-hard true fan of this. I've had a version of this book since I graduated from my undergrad degree in college. The Graphic Artist Guild Handbook on Pricing and Ethical Guidelines. This is perfect for the business side of surface pattern design, especially if you are a freelancer. It gives you a fantastic rundown of base pricing, trying to figure out rates, and it includes multiple industries, including surface pattern design and the fashion industry, illustration, graphic design, things like that. A must-have for anyone working freelance, doing their own kind of thing, or attempting to do any type of licensing work. This is a fantastic guide to have, and the top book that I would suggest, that if there's any book that you get on here, this is it, especially if you're a freelancer. The next book I want to share is The Pattern Sourcebook by Drusilla Cole. And basically this is a picture book that chronicles more than 100 years of classic patterns and features design work from a variety of styles, art movements, and countries. This is a fantastic resource and reference guide for inspiration as you're working on art, surface pattern design, wallpaper, things like that. This is a fantastic resource for. The next book I want to share is What If Textiles by Gerhardt Knodel. This book is a behemoth and it's absolutely gorgeous, and yes, it is as luxurious as it looks on screen. It is covered in fabric, lots of texture. It's just absolutely beautiful, and of course you would want it to be beautiful if you are a textile designer, and that is what Gerhardt Knodel is. Knodel is an incredibly talented textile designer who weaves, cuts, sews, and is multifaceted in his art. What If Textiles is basically the culmination of his interest in strengthening that whole idea of the potential of textile design, combined with insights on the history of the industry and how far he can push it. And this book is essentially a biography of sorts that portrays the evolution of Knodel's work with beautiful photography and insightful annotations. And it's really great for those of you interested in textile design and in need of inspiration for taking your work from 2D flat into the 3D world. The next book that I want to highlight is Mastering the Art of Fabric Printing and Design Techniques, Tutorials, and Inspiration by Laurie Wisbrun. If this feels and looks like a textbook, I would definitely say it is. If you are looking to get a guide that outlines everything someone needs to know to design and print gorgeous fabrics, and this is the book for you. I would highly recommend it if you are on a self-paced, self-taught journey. This is a fantastic resource. The book includes extensive step-by-step tutorials, both digitally and by hand. And when it comes to digital, it's mostly in Adobe products, But if you really like what you see in here and you want to see if you can use it or apply what you've learned using something like Affinity, make sure you check out some of my tutorials. I'll leave links in the description box below, and I'll put a little card for those of you interested in doing surface pattern design either on your iPad with Affinity or on your computer with Affinity. What I really like about it is that it has a really great section on screen printing, stenciling, block printing, and resist printing, so it kind of combines the digital world with the more tactile analog world of surface pattern design. And it also features some really fantastic interviews with established designers throughout the whole entire book. So a must grab. The next book I want to highlight is Japanese Children Fabrics from the 1950s to the 1970s by Anita Yasuda. So this is a beautifully organized and just fun book to look at when it comes to vintage Japanese kids fabrics. So it features hundreds of vintage textiles along with descriptions, and I think it's just a really great resource for reference inspiration, especially if you're looking to kind of reference vintage materials or look at design work from other countries. Japan, Korea, China, they have some fantastic, beautifully done textiles, but I really like how fun some of these kids focused textiles are, the characterizations of animals and people, and just the overall vibrancy of them. And I love that you get that very vintage feel, but you can take some of those concepts and ideas, run with them, get inspired by them, and see how you can apply them in your own work. So this is a great book if you're looking for something unique and different. So the next book I want to highlight is Print and Pattern Nature by Bowie Style. So this book is based on the popular Print and Pattern blog, but Print and Pattern Nature celebrates beautiful surface pattern designs, patterns, motifs of leaves, insects, grasses, butterflies, trees, anything relating to nature essentially. And the product areas that they cover in the book include stationery, cards, gift wrap, fabrics, wallpapers, rugs, ceramics, homewares, gadget skins, and so much more. So it's just another fantastic resource or reference guide that you can utilize to find inspiration, pull inspiration, look at trends as well, and then see how you can apply some of those concepts and ideas to your own work. The next book I want to highlight is the Patternbase, over 550 contemporary textiles and surface designs by Kristi O'Mara. And of course, I have to give Kristi a shout out. She's the founder of a Chicago-based design studio called the Patternbase. And they also have online archives, and she does a lot of her own surface pattern design work, things like that. But this book basically showcases more than 550 textiles, surface, fashion, and print designs from over 150 designers working all over the world. There's two parts to the book. Part one is like a source book of the designs, and they're all organized by type of pattern, whether they're geometric, floral, representational, digital, abstract, illustrative, and then it also includes fabric swatches. And part two presents profiles of 15 of some of the most hottest up-and-comers in the field. So it's always nice to kind of see and read the interviews and kind of get an idea of where people came from and how they got to where they are today. So the next book I want to highlight is the Pattern Sourcebook, A Century of Surface Design by Drusilla Cole. Another stunning picture book by Drusilla Cole, and it chronicles 100 years of classic patterns featuring designs in a wide variety of style, art movements, and countries of origin to basically give an overview of surface design from the beginning of the last century to the present day. So this book is full of original patterns from textiles, wallpaper, furniture, and ceramics, and other decorative designs. They're drawn from a really wide array of sources, including some rarely seen archives of leading manufacturers and private collections. So this is a great resource book, reference book, another book that I think you can utilize as you're kind of going through it to keep in mind trends and how they cycle in and out of the industry over the years. The next book I want to highlight is Print and Pattern Geometric by Bowie Style. So another book from the Print and Pattern blog. Print and Pattern Geometric basically celebrates beautiful surface design patterns and motifs made from geometric shapes like circles and triangles, hexagons, and so many more things. The patterns included basically reflect current trends for things like tribal, Aztec, and Native American designs, along with Scandinavian influences and some more mathematical and scientific looks, which I think is really interesting. Product areas covered include things like stationery, cards, gift wrap, fabric, wallpaper, homewares, and so much more. Another great book to look at for trends, as well as to kind of pull inspiration for your own work. And the final book that I would like to highlight is The Complete Pattern Directory by Elizabeth Wilhide. So the Complete Pattern Directory is the most comprehensive, practical, and beautiful directory of patterns throughout history. It covers so many periods, so many styles and cultures, and it features 1,500 illustrations of patterns from all ages and cultures. And the book is arranged thematically according to pattern type, with chapters on flora and fauna, pictorial, geometric, and abstract designs. Each pattern includes basically the name of the pattern, the year of its creation if known, and a brief description. Again, another great resource guide, reference guide for artwork, for trends, and inspiration that you can pull for your own work. I hope you found the rundown of these must-have reference books for surface pattern designers helpful. If there is a book that you think should also be mentioned, you can just leave it in the comments below, share a link, a name, an author. That's always helpful. And tell me why you think it's important and how you've used it maybe. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to my channel to stay up to date on my latest tutorials, my course launches, and of course vlogs. If you're looking for other ways to connect with me, you can find me online at www.bellasophiacreative.com. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!